Welcome. Today marks the moment you decide to sharpen your mind, deepen your awareness, speak with purpose, and grow into a wiser, smarter version of yourself. Because in this world, strength alone doesn't guarantee victory. Volume doesn't create leadership. Speed doesn't ensure success. The real advantage belongs to those who stay calm when others panic, to those who listen before they speak, to those who notice what most people overlook, to those who move quietly but act with accuracy. This isn't just another video filled with surface-level advice. This is a shift in thinking. If you truly absorb what you're about to hear, it will reshape how you learn, how you communicate, how you react, and how you grow long-term. Intelligence isn't something you're simply born with. It's something you build. And today, you'll learn how to build it. You'll also strengthen your English and upgrade your mindset along the way. So subscribe and let's begin. First, understand this clearly. You cannot truly succeed in relationships, business, career, communication, or life without learning how to think wisely. You can have passion. You can have energy. You can have big dreams. But if your thinking is weak, you'll spend years chasing the wrong direction. Smart thinking protects you from regret. It helps you choose better paths. It helps you avoid toxic influences. It builds real confidence. It speeds up learning. It improves your communication. It strengthens leadership. It accelerates growth. And most importantly, it protects you from manipulation. You don't believe everything. You don't follow everything. You don't agree with everything. You pause. You reflect. You question. Then you decide, clearly and confidently. In a confusing world, intelligence brings clarity. In a loud world, it gives you power. In a chaotic world, it gives you peace. That's why building intelligence is one of the most valuable investments you can make, not just for your future, but for your present. Now let's break something down. What really separates intelligent people from average thinkers? It's not degrees. It's not the number of books on their shelf. It's not IQ scores. It's how they think, how they respond, how they handle situations. They don't react instantly. They respond thoughtfully. They don't act blindly. They understand why they're acting. They don't follow crowds. They think independently. They're not afraid of being wrong. They're afraid of staying stagnant. They aren't controlled by circumstances. They choose their direction. This isn't about collecting tips. It's about rewiring your thinking, step by step. As you listen, you'll strengthen your mental discipline and sharpen your English at the same time. If you're serious about growth, subscribe, and let's move to the first rule. Rule 1. Listen more than you speak. This single habit is one of the strongest traits of intelligent people. You might wonder, how does listening make someone smarter? When you're constantly talking, your mind is closed. When you react instantly, you're not thinking deeply. But when you truly listen, something powerful happens. You understand people better. You catch small details others miss. You process information clearly. You make fewer mistakes. And when you finally speak, your words carry weight. Listening requires strength. Talking is easy. Talking feeds the ego. Listening feeds the mind. That's why the smartest person in the room is often the quietest one. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they're observing, learning, reading the room, collecting insight. And when they do speak, it's calm, it's precise, and it stands out. Picture a meeting at work. Employee A speaks loudly, interrupts often, shares opinions quickly, tries hard to impress. Employee B stays focused, listens carefully, takes notes, observes reactions, and at the end asks one thoughtful question. Who earns real respect? Employee A might appear confident, but forgettable. Employee B becomes the one leadership trusts. Why? Because intelligent people don't speak just to fill silence. They speak to add value. Silence, when used wisely, is powerful. When you talk less and listen more, people begin to pay attention. And when you finally speak, your words carry clarity and influence. Now let's turn this into action. First, pause before replying. When someone finishes speaking, don't rush. Take 2 seconds. Ask yourself, do I need to respond now, or should I listen more? Second, ask strong questions. Questions like, why do you think that happened? What exactly do you mean? Can you explain that more simply? Good questions open deeper conversations. Third, repeat key points in your mind. When someone says something important, rephrase it mentally. This sharpens focus and strengthens understanding. Fourth, capture valuable ideas. If you hear something meaningful, write it down. Intelligent people collect knowledge. They don't let it disappear. Listening builds patience. It builds self-control. It strengthens emotional awareness and social intelligence. It helps you see beneath the surface. And once you master listening, your words become more powerful. People respect your voice. Your relationships improve. Your decisions become sharper. Listening isn't weakness. It's hidden strength. Remember this. Intelligent people don't try to prove they're the smartest in the room. They try to learn the most from the room. They listen first. They observe first. They think first. Then they speak once, clearly and confidently. That's rule 1. Practice it daily, and your mental sharpness will grow faster than you expect. Now, let's move to rule 2. Become highly adaptable. If there's one quality that separates flexible minds from stuck ones, it's adaptability. In a world that changes constantly, intelligence requires flexibility. You must be able to adjust, to shift direction when needed, to stay steady even when plans fall apart. Adaptability means you don't panic when things change. You don't freeze when something goes wrong. You don't complain when the environment feels unfamiliar. You keep moving, even if the path looks different than you imagined. Adjusting isn't weakness, it's strength. When intelligent people lose a job, they learn a new skill. When they fail, they change their strategy, not their goal. When they enter a new situation, they study it calmly and find their position. When they hear new ideas, they explore instead of arguing. But people who resist change, they blame circumstances. They say, I can't. They apply outdated thinking to a new world. They wait for someone else to fix their reality. That's not intelligence. That's fear. True intelligence shows itself during change. When the world faced a global pandemic, businesses shut down, jobs disappeared, life paused, but some individuals grew. A taxi driver started an online delivery service. A teacher launched a YouTube channel and reached millions. A fitness trainer created virtual programs from home. Even older adults learned video calls and online banking. What did they all share? Adaptability. They didn't complain about what changed. They adjusted to it. They accepted reality and upgraded themselves. That's smart thinking. Now here's how you build it. First, stop saying, that's not how I do things. The moment you say that, growth stops. Instead say, let me try. I'm open to learning. I've never done this before, but I'll figure it out. That shift alone can change your life. Second, expose yourself to new environments. Visit unfamiliar places. Speak to different types of people. Try things that challenge you. The more new experiences your brain handles, the less it fears change. Third, practice what if thinking. Ask yourself, what if I lose my job? What if my plan fails? What if I must start over? Don't fear these questions. Use them to prepare. Intelligent people don't only hope, they prepare. Fourth, learn quickly and apply even faster. You don't need to master everything. You only need to learn what matters. And then take action. Flexible people do not wait until everything is perfect. They begin imperfectly, then improve along the way. Perfection slows you down. Adaptability moves you forward. Remember this clearly. Life will not follow your exact plans. People will change. Careers will shift. Technology will evolve. The world will keep transforming. Intelligent people are not the ones fighting the storm. They are the ones who move through it with control. They stay clear while everything feels chaotic. Adaptability does not mean losing who you are. It means strengthening yourself without losing your core. Now let's move to Rule 3. Read to transform, not just to finish. Reading is one of the most powerful ways to sharpen your mind. But understand this. It is not about how many books you complete. It is about how deeply you engage with them. You can read 100 books and remain the same, or you can read 5 with focus and completely shift your life. Intelligent readers do not read just to pass time. They read to understand how great thinkers think. They study principles that apply to real life. They expand their vocabulary. They collect ideas that guide their decisions. They do not simply highlight quotes. They live what they learn. Reading is not a competition. It is a discipline of growth. Imagine two readers. Reader A finishes 20 books in a month, schemes quickly, forgets most of it, feels accomplished, but cannot explain a single lesson clearly. Reader B reads one book over 30 days, slowly and carefully, takes notes, reflects, applies one lesson each day. Who truly grows? Smart reading is not about speed. It is about transformation. When you read actively, the book changes how you think, speak, act, and decide. Here is how to read intelligently. First, choose books that expand your mind, not just entertain you. Ask yourself, will this improve how I think? Will this strengthen my understanding of life? Will this stretch my perspective? Subjects like psychology, communication, philosophy, business, leadership, and human behavior build mental strength. Second, use the 3-2-1 method. After each chapter, highlight 3 key ideas. Write 2 questions it made you consider. Choose one idea to apply immediately. Now reading becomes action. Third, read with a pen in your hand. Underline. Write notes. Engage with the author as if you are in conversation. This keeps your brain active and focused. Fourth, teach what you learn. Explain the core idea to someone else or to yourself in front of a mirror. If you cannot explain it simply, you did not understand it deeply enough. Teaching forces clarity. Now avoid these common mistakes. Do not read while scrolling your phone. Do not consume only short motivational quotes without depth. Do not rush just to say you finished. And most importantly, do not ignore application. Stop chasing quantity. Chase impact. Throughout history, powerful thinkers shared one habit. They were readers. From Elon Musk to Abraham Lincoln, books shaped their minds. Books are more than paper. They are mentors you can carry anywhere. They give you access to decades of experience. Failures, victories, lessons condensed into hours. If you want to grow intellectually, make reading personal. Not for school, not for social media. For yourself. Every purposeful page strengthens your thinking, sharpens your language, and prepares your future. Now, Rule 4. Learn to observe people. Intelligence is not only about knowledge. It is about understanding people. Smart individuals can enter a room and sense what is happening without anyone explaining it. They notice who feels pressured, who is confident, who is pretending, who holds quiet influence. How? Through observation. People constantly reveal information, not just through words, but through eye movement, posture, tone, timing, and silence. Observation is not guessing. It is recognizing patterns and subtle signals. This skill builds emotional intelligence. It protects you from manipulation. It helps you avoid false trust. It strengthens influence. It shifts you from reacting to understanding. Imagine 2 new employees in a company. Person A speaks loudly, gives opinions freely, jokes often, tries to stand out immediately. Person B observes for the first week, watches how teams function, notices who truly leads, sees who management trusts, pays attention to energy shifts, speaks little but listens deeply. After 1 month, Person A blends into the noise. Person B becomes respected. Why? Because awareness earns trust. And awareness begins with observation. Here's how to train it. First, notice without judging. When you enter a space, simply watch. Who carries authority naturally? Who is ignored? Who looks uncomfortable? Who controls conversations through silence? This builds awareness without emotional reaction. Second, observe the eyes, hands, and feet. Eyes reflect emotion. Hands reveal nervousness or control. Feet often point toward comfort or interest. Small details reveal large truths. Third, watch how people act when they think no one notices. How do they treat service staff? How do they behave after winning? How do they react to loss? Character shows itself in quiet moments. Fourth, practice silent observation daily. Spend 5 minutes in a public place without distractions. No phone, no headphones. Just watch. Ask yourself, who appears confident? Who seems forced? Who is trying too hard? This simple practice sharpens perception more than theory ever will. Smart individuals know when to speak and when to remain silent, who deserves trust and who requires distance. What is happening beneath the surface? They do not need constant explanations. They see. Observation improves relationships. It helps you earn respect without speaking. It protects you from being misled. It strengthens decisions in business and life. You do not become intelligent by only reading books. You become intelligent by reading people. Many life mistakes happen because we fail to understand who we are dealing with. When you observe carefully, you protect your peace and elevate your position. Now, Rule 5, stay curious about everything. Curiosity is not childish. It is a powerful trait of intelligent minds. It makes you ask, why? What is the real reason? What is behind this idea? How can this improve? Curiosity is where learning begins. Smart people are not know-it-alls. They are lifelong learners. They do not pretend to understand everything. They actively seek understanding. Curiosity pushes you to explore new perspectives, to question weak logic, to discover connections others miss, to think beyond limits. Without curiosity, the mind becomes rigid, even at a young age. In school, there are two types of students. Student A studies only what is required for exams, follows instructions without question, earns high grades, but forgets most of it later. Student B keeps asking, why is this true? Who discovered this? What if we approached it differently? How does this connect to real life? Student B may not always score perfectly, but becomes a sharper thinker, because curiosity builds independent thought, and independent thought builds intelligence. Here is how to strengthen it. First, say this daily. I do not know, but I want to understand. Do not pretend to be informed. Admit when you lack knowledge, and then seek it. Read. Ask. Explore. This keeps your mind open and active. Second, ask why 3 times. When you hear a statement, do not accept it immediately. Ask why. Then ask why again. Then once more. Each layer takes you deeper, and depth is where true understanding begins. Whenever you hear a statement, don't just accept it. Ask yourself, why is that true? Why does it matter? Why do people believe it? Those 3 questions alone can take you far beyond the surface. Intelligent people don't stop at what's obvious. They look underneath it. Third, follow your confusion. The moment something doesn't make sense, don't ignore it. Chase it. If money confuses you, study it. If a conversation feels unclear, ask about it. If an idea sounds complicated, break it down. Confusion is not weakness. It's the doorway to understanding. Curiosity turns confusion into clarity. Fourth, don't just learn, discover. Instead of saying, I need to learn this, say, I want to discover how this works, who created it, and what's behind it. Discovery creates excitement, and excitement fuels memory. Truly smart people don't depend only on schools, systems, or videos. They build minds that teach themselves. And curiosity is the fuel for that mind. It gives you faster learning, more flexible thinking, stronger questions, sharper insight, a deeper interest in the world around you. The world does not belong to those who claim to know everything. It belongs to those who never stop asking. They are not afraid of looking foolish. They are energized by new ideas. They don't settle for shallow answers. They dig deeper. And every time they dig, their mind becomes richer and stronger. If you want to grow intellectually, start asking better questions. And never stop. Now, Rule 6, control your emotions. Master your mind before it masters you. There is no real intelligence without emotional discipline. You can understand every theory in the world, but if your emotions take control in real life, your logic disappears. When you cannot manage your emotions, they control your words, your reactions, your choices, your relationships, your reputation, your peace. And in that moment, knowledge doesn't matter. You might say something that ruins years of trust, quit something out of anger, react when you should have paused, choose revenge instead of wisdom, believe something just because it feels good, stay stuck because fear told you to. This is what happens when emotion leads and reason follows. Smart people feel deeply, but they don't let feelings define their decisions. Think of a wildfire. It starts small, a spark, a little heat, but without control, it spreads and destroys everything in its path. Uncontrolled emotion is like that fire. Now imagine a dam. It doesn't stop water from existing. It controls it, directs it, uses it to create power. That is what a trained mind does. Emotions are natural, but without structure, they burn your peace, your relationships, your future. With control, they become strength. When you feel triggered, your emotional brain reacts first. If you don't pause, logic fades. You speak too fast. You decide too quickly. You regret later. But if you stop, even for a few seconds, clarity returns. That pause is power. Here's how to build it. First, create space before responding. When something upsets you, don't answer immediately. Don't send a message. Don't speak. Say silently, "Let me think." That small delay protects everything. Second, name what you feel. I'm angry because I feel disrespected. I'm afraid because I might fail. When you label an emotion, you step outside it. You observe it instead of drowning in it. Third, ask yourself, what is the smartest move right now? OL is not about feeling less. It's about acting wiser. Fourth, write before you speak. When emotions are intense, put them on paper first. Let them breathe there, then read them back. You'll see what deserves to be said and what doesn't. Fifth, train yourself with controlled discomfort. Cold showers, hard workouts, difficult conversations. Emotional strength grows in discomfort, not in comfort. Anger is costly. One careless moment can erase years of connection. Fear exaggerates danger and hides opportunity. Sadness must be handled with awareness, not ignored. Silence sometimes is strength. Emotional control is not about feeling less. It's about acting wiser. You can read 100 books about success, but if your mind collapses under pressure, none of it matters. So train yourself to feel deeply and act intelligently. That is real strength. Now, Rule 7, build a powerful network. Your intelligence multiplies when you are around the right people. No one grows alone. Even the most brilliant minds surround themselves with thinkers who challenge them. The people around you shape your language, your standards, your focus, your confidence. If you stay around small thinking, your growth shrinks. If you stay around big thinking, your mind expands naturally. That's the power of environment. Imagine two young business owners. Entrepreneur A works alone, avoids advice, spends time with friends who complain and gossip. Progress is slow. Mistakes repeat. Entrepreneur B joins a serious community, seeks mentorship, discusses ideas with experienced thinkers, learns from others' failures. Growth accelerates. What made the difference? The circle. When you connect with minds sharper than yours, you begin thinking differently. Here's how to build that. First, review your circle. Who do you spend the most time with? Do they challenge you or just comfort you? Do they discuss ideas or just people? Be honest. Second, place yourself where growth lives. Join communities. Attend events. Find spaces where ideas are discussed seriously. Even online spaces that challenge your thinking count. Enter with humility. Observe. Listen. Ask thoughtful questions. Third, offer value first. Serious people respect contribution. Share insights. Be reliable. Be curious. Build trust before expecting support. Fourth, reduce noise quietly. You don't need to argue with your old circle, but if they mock growth or waste time, step back silently. You cannot expand in an environment that fears expansion. In the right network, every conversation sharpens you. You avoid mistakes others already made. You see opportunities earlier. You grow faster. High-level thinkers don't just chase information. They place themselves where information flows naturally. If you want to move quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, build wisely. Change your circle, and your life changes with it. Now, Rule 8. Solve problems instead of avoiding them. Life rewards problem solvers. If you want real intelligence, master this skill. Problems are not punishments. They are tests of your thinking. Most people panic. They blame. They avoid. They complain. Smart people pause and say, "Let's figure this out." That mindset alone changes everything. Every respected leader, creator, and innovator became valuable because they solve what others avoid. They identify the root, break it down, stay calm, design solutions, take action. That is practical intelligence. Imagine a factory where a machine suddenly stops working. Chaos begins. Money is being lost every minute. A technician arrives. He studies the machine quietly, tightens one small part. The system runs again. He charges a large fee. Why? Because knowing which small part to adjust is worth more than random effort. Smart problem solving is not about doing more. It's about thinking clearly. Here's how. First, calm your reaction. When something goes wrong, your first task is not fixing it. It's stabilizing yourself. Tell yourself, this is a challenge, not a catastrophe. Second, define the real issue. Most people treat symptoms. Smart people find causes. If you're always late, the issue is not the alarm. It's your habits. Ask, what is actually creating this pattern? Third, break the issue into parts. What can I control? What needs time? What resources are missing? Divide it. Clarity grows. Fourth, create multiple options. Don't depend on one solution. Build alternatives. Flexibility keeps you strong. Fifth, build systems after solving it. Ask, how do I prevent this next time? Every solved problem should upgrade your standards. When you think this way, people trust you. You stay calm under pressure. You become valuable. Problem solvers are always needed, because while others escape, they step forward. Life will never stop presenting challenges. But if you become the person who says, I can think through this, you become unstoppable. Now, Rule 9, challenge yourself intellectually. Growth stops when comfort takes over. Smart people constantly stretch their thinking, not for grades, not for titles, for expansion. They read complex material. They explore new viewpoints. They question their own beliefs. They sit with ideas that challenge them. Most people avoid discomfort. They consume what confirms their opinions. They repeat familiar thoughts. They avoid difficulty. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Growth lives in discomfort. Imagine someone in midlife deciding to learn a difficult new language to expand their business. It feels awkward. Progress is slow. Mistakes are constant. But 2 years later, that skill opens doors no one else could access. Not because it was easy, because it was challenging. Here's how to stretch your mind. First, read material that forces you to slow down. If you feel slightly lost at first, that's good. Your brain is growing. Second, pick a tough problem and work on it consistently for a week. Think deeply. Research. Right. Even if you don't solve it, you strengthen your focus. Third, speak with people who think at a higher level. Don't compete. Learn. Absorb. Fourth, practice mental discipline. Solve logic puzzles. Memorize something meaningful. Write thoughtfully. Debate respectfully. Over time, you'll notice changes. You ask better questions. You explain ideas clearly. You stay curious instead of defensive. You understand both sides before choosing one. That is real intellectual growth. Becoming smart is not a single event. It is a mindset. It's not about having all the answers. It's about asking stronger questions. It's not about sounding intelligent. It's about thinking clearly. It's not about always being right. It's about staying open enough to grow. If you truly want to sharpen your mind, read deeply, listen more, speak with intention, question assumptions, stay calm under pressure, remain a student of life. The smartest people are not the ones who try to appear wise. They are the ones who never stop learning. Now you have the blueprint. 9 rules, 9 tools, a new way of thinking. Don't just save this. Live it, practice it, become it. Let the world be loud. You stay focused. Let others chase attention. You chase understanding. Let others follow crowds. You build your path, quietly and consistently, because the true reward of becoming smarter isn't applause from others. It's earning respect from your own mind. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of who you're becoming. Go live sharper. And if this opened your mind even slightly, don't leave quietly. Subscribe now. More powerful lessons are coming, and your smarter future begins here.